Hey guys, and welcome to this little pet project of mine where I'm going to be sitting down with different YouTube content creators and interviewing them in a more personal setting. It's gotten to the point in my life where I don't watch a lot of traditional media anymore, like television shows or movies, but I do spend immense amounts of time watching video game content, long form retrospectives, videos about video games, essays, that kind of thing. So much to the point where that's what I do now, myself, for a living. So I've had this idea where I want to sit down and talk in depth with different creators whose content I actually really love and I watch. And today, I'm really thrilled to be sitting down with NIOSAI, who is a fantastic video game content creator with a focus on Dragon Ball Z, anime, Kingdom Hearts, and all kinds of other things. So with that said, thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me today, NIOSAI. I'm very excited to have you on today. And how you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited. Like I just finished explaining in the intro here, I'm a fan, man. I'm actually just a
I
fan of your work.
appreciate that, dude.
I've sat through hours of your content. I really enjoy watching it. And of course, we've even worked together a couple times and
What?
we have some more stuff in the works right now. So, yeah,
Spoilers, leaks. Oh my God.
I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better, learn about NIOSAI, and hopefully both of our
Likewise.
audiences can learn more about what's going on with you. So the first question I wanted to ask, what is NIOSAI? What is that? What is that name?
Real. Okay. So I actually had to make like a little animatic to explain this one time. So back in the day, back in like the early, like I'm talking, when I say back in the day, I mean literally back in the day, back in mid 2000s,
Oh, back
when I
in the
started
day,
using the
back in the
internet.
day.
Yeah. When I started using the internet, my sister wanted to give me like a username for websites and stuff. Like I guess my sister was like, you need to have an online identity. Don't know why, but she made it. I don't remember the reasoning. Don't remember. Had nothing to do with Naruto. It was Saisuke, Saisuke.
Mm.
And at that point in time, I just kind of rolled with it, right? But over the years, right? It over the years, like, and I can actually pin down exactly when this happened. I had more and more. I started playing like online games and stuff using that name, Xbox Live, and I was playing. This had happened a few times, but the breaking point was I was playing Black Ops, the original Black Ops on the Xbox 360, and
It's a
somebody
great game, by
said,
the way.
"Dude, it is." Uh, I miss sticks and stones. Anyways, somebody was like, "You misspelled Sasuke," and it's like, at this point, I could not have cared less about Naruto, right? It was something that I didn't hate, but I had no interest in it at the time, and I was like, I really need to like change things. I don't like this constant. You misspelled Sasuke. What is that? How do I pronounce that? Which I still have that issue now. But anyways, I was like, I need a new name, but I don't want to stray too far. I want something simple, so I was gonna make it NEOSAI, like a fun little new Saisuke thing. I'm looking up this way because my camera's right here, but my monitor's right here. Sorry.
Oh, understood.
Uh,
I'm looking all over the place. They're gonna have no idea what I'm looking at.
but I was like, okay, I want like NEOSAI. Like I went through a bunch of different ideas. I'm making it sound like I thought about this a lot, and that's because I did. And I was like, I don't like how lopsided it is. And IOSAI, it's just there's something about the NISAI. There's something I liked about that, and it was still pronounced Neosai, and that's how I landed on that. True story.
Wow. I, I
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't actually expect that elaborate of an explanation, but that's really cool. That was
yeah,
fun.
it's a real that's
And
that was it's a real lore.
you weren't, yeah, we're getting real Neosai lore right here. You said you weren't interested in Naruto at the time,
At the time, no,
but you are
zero
now.
interest. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you've
Yeah.
made videos on Naruto stuff, so I
What's funny
imagine.
is that at that point in time, the biggest exposure I had to Naruto was two things. One, kids at school Naruto running during lunch, which
That's a classic. Everybody had that.
yeah. But two, my mom back in the day had gotten me a copy of Naruto Clash of Ninja 2 for the Nintendo GameCube, and I enjoyed that game. Didn't know anything that was going on, but I did enjoy that game. So,
Were you into anime at all at this time, or
oh
did that?
yeah,
Okay.
total weeb.
Okay,
My
just
whole
not
life.
Naruto. That's kind of odd. So it was probably
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, right?
Uh, okay. But the big Neosai lore.
Okay.
Not counting the stuff like Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and that stuff. Not counting those like the mainstream stuff. My first real anime was probably something like it was either Inuyasha or Tenchi Muyo or both. Uh, Followed by Yu Yu Hakusho. That I was basically into like battle shonen before it was mainstream.
Yeah. I mean, Yu Yu
Anything my
Hakusho,
sister watched,
that's a throwback. Was it Toonami?
basically, yeah. Anything my sister watched, I would end up watching, including
Okay.
some real garbage. But yeah. So I had all kinds of stuff that I've been watching my entire life. Dragon Ball was a big part of my identity as a kid, though.
Yeah, mine too. Although,
Yeah.
I didn't actually end up getting into anime until way, way later. It was just Dragon Ball for a really, really long time.
Dragon Ball
Mainly
is a
Dragon
way of
Ball
life.
Z. I didn't really like most of. Oh, look, there we go. I didn't
It's
really
not on
like.
purpose, by the way. It's just a coincidence, but
I mean, we're both Dragon Ball nerds, so it's
that's true. That is
bound to
true.
happen. I didn't watch too much other anime or anything like that for a long time.
Mhm.
It was mainly just Dragon Ball Z. I think the first real anime that I watched and really liked was, and this is like lame, but it was Death Note. Right?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, it's the obvious one. Death
It's
Note
like the
is
starter pack
that's
or
like
whatever, but
gateway. That's like gateway anime.
there's a
Right?
reason it's such a popular gateway. It's just it's really good. It's not the kind of thing that people think of when they think of anime. A lot of people when they hear anime, they think of either Sailor Moon, Pokemon, kind of that kind of stuff, or they think of like Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't realize that you can have like thriller animes that tell an actually like really compelling, complex story, which Death Note I would say is like surface level complex, but it's still complex
Yeah,
in
I
a
mean,
way that's like really palatable
yeah, it's definitely
and
complex
fun and
in
exciting.
It's complex in kind of an accessible way.
Yeah.
I think Death Note was the first real anime I got into that wasn't Dragon Ball Z, and then I kind of didn't really mess with it for a while, and I started watching more way later, and it's when I was coming to the conclusion, this was my late teens, early 20s, that anime isn't really a real thing.
Right.
I mean, there is a style that is associated with Japanese animation, but there's the only difference between anime or Western cartoons or video games or movies is there is a cultural identity associated with it, but ultimately, all of these are just vehicles with which to tell stories. So
Exactly.
if the story is there and it's compelling and the characters are there and they're compelling, does it really matter in what form you're digesting it? It could be a book, it could be a comic, or an anime. And I think for some reason, I guess because of the style, and maybe because there's an association between anime and like smut, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's like some people have that association when they think of anime, like the fan servicey stuff, and that obviously that's not any more representative of anime than adult films would be representative of Hollywood, like big cinema. You know what I mean? So I think that was an interesting little tangent. I don't really know how we got on that. We should get back to you because I have another question for you regarding
Sure.
your content.
Oh God.
Obviously, your Dragon Ball stuff does really well. I mean,
Right.
does really well for me too. People love Dragon Ball. But do you have a favorite video that you've done that isn't Dragon Ball related?
Yes. I have the obvious answer, which I will give, which is the Kingdom Hearts video, which has been a passion project for over 2 years, and I am still working on part 2. I am a hyper nerd for Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is probably my favorite piece of media in the world, but not counting the Kingdom Hearts video. What is the answer to that question? Let me go look at my videos.
Sure.
1 second.
Yeah. Go take a look. And while you're taking a look, just kind of sifting through your videos, why don't you tell me a little bit more about why Kingdom Hearts is important to you? You mentioned that it's a passion project. Kingdom Hearts is very special to you. Was it there for you in like a critical time in your life, or?
It's not even that. It's Kingdom Hearts is kind of like there's a lot of facets, I think, to why I like Kingdom Hearts. I like the art style. I like the direction. I like the tone. I like how deceptively complex it is.
That's really funny. Deceptively complex.
Deceptive. I'm talking about when it comes to themes and stuff. The story itself is complex, I will admit. I concede that it's not as complex as people will tell you it is, casual people, but it is still very complex. And I think part of the problem, this is not me trying to get on a soapbox, part of the problem with that is it's twofold. One, people see Disney characters and they're like, this is going to be super cool. I can just play the new third one with the fancy graphics, and then they're confused. that's part of the problem. But the second part of the problem is that I don't know how. I can't think of a single series, like a narrative series across any medium, where you can jump into a sequel that is tied to the events of previous stories over 20 years after the first story.
That's
There's
fair.
no way. There's no way to make that accessible without having some background knowledge.
I
And
think that's fair.
that is what I believe to be an unfair criticism of the Kingdom Hearts series. Metal Gear Solid is just as, if not more complex than some of the Kingdom Hearts games. But you don't see that criticism from Metal Gear Solid because Metal Gear Solid is a more, I think personally, this is opinion for the record. You don't see that for Metal Gear Solid because it's a more mature or a more adult or a more identifiable concept because it's set in a lot of like real world themes and places and conflicts. Anyways, that was completely off track. Didn't mean to turn into a Kingdom Hearts defense.
Are
I
you
grew up with it
a fan of Metal Gear?
casually. I have not played through all the games. I plan on it. It is a video that I have planned.
Yeah, well, you should. They're great, by the way. But
I know.
just something
I enjoy greatly what I've played of it.
something I think I should throw out there is the Metal Gear franchise is notorious for people calling it convoluted and like overly.
I didn't say
complex.
convoluted. I said complex.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
I have spent a great deal of my life hearing how convoluted the
No,
Metal
it's
Gear
understandable.
franchise is.
And I actually that's a really great point. Metal Gear is complex, but you can understand it if you experience it or if you like go through the story and try to understand it.
Not counting
Kingdom
the
Hearts
fifth
is
game, yeah. You can't do that with the fifth game.
the complete games, the ones that actually got to get finished. Whereas with Kingdom Hearts, it's exactly the same. If you play through the games or even just watch the cutscenes for the games, right? You'll understand the story to some degree. Obviously, there's still some like unanswered questions, and that's by design. But like any story, like it's just the fact that there's so much of it to get through, which I do admit. And there was a time where in order to actually experience those stories, you had to have like 17 different consoles. But you can buy every single Kingdom Hearts game on a single disc right now.
Really?
Yep. It's called the All-in-One Package. Includes every game but the newest one, which is Melody and Memory. And it's not in there because it's the newest one.
It's the
and the
newest
newest
one.
one, it's a rhythm game that isn't. I feel sacrilegious saying this. It's not that important. It has some important stuff right at the end, but if you're not into rhythm games, just watch the cutscenes. Anyways, it has like 20 minutes of cutscenes, for the record. That's it. It's mostly just like a dedicated rhythm game thing.
I'm
But-
sure there's a video essay out there that just breaks it all down. Are you checking that?
No, sorry. I thought there was I got a message that I assumed was like an emergency. It was not.
Okay, that's fine.
Somebody said, "Are you free?" It's like, what? Everything okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was fine.
No, let's bring him on the call. Let's see what's up. No, I'm just kidding. But you were talking about I interrupted you about Metal Gear. You were talking about why
it's
Kingdom
okay.
Hearts is important to you.
Yeah. So it is. This is going to sound really corny. Kingdom Hearts is a series that one of the biggest things about it is the concept of connection, and Kingdom Hearts is a way that I've connected with a lot of people over my life. Aside from the like de facto things that I like about it, art style, story, music. Like some of my favorite music is the compositions of Yoko Shimomura. Yoko Shimomura is my favorite composer ever because some of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard, pieces that I've ever heard were tracks from Kingdom Hearts, believe it or not, because Shimomura did the tracks for that game. Like, think of the saddest fantasy movie you can think of with like the most beautiful moving soundtrack. Yoko Shimomura was like, I'm gonna take this Disney game and I'm gonna make everybody feel really complicated, sad emotions while they play this delightful Disney game. It's so great. I could go on forever, but the connection thing, like, I got into video games. Most of the things that I'm into now are actually because of my sister. My sister was the Disney child, more so than I ever was. My sister was the, JRPG kid, right? Which I eventually became the JRPG kid. A little known fact, that's my favorite genre. But my sister saw the commercial on TV for Kingdom Hearts. To anybody watching this, if you know, it's the one where it literally just opens with Simple and Clean, and they're like, join Disney heroes and characters from Final Fantasy combined, and it shows Cloud, and you're like, oh my god,
such a funny crossover to just happen back then.
Yeah, and so like my sister got me into it. That's something we bonded over. And then I would make friends that were into it, but the problem is that the friends that I never had like real life friends that were also into Kingdom Hearts
Hmm.
growing up, not once. And so it was almost like, aside from my sister, it was kind of my special thing. Even my best friend in the world could not care less about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
And
so
that
you
dude
were
plays 10 times the number of games I play, and I play a lot of games.
so you were
So
kind of just kind of in that alone. Like you were the person
kind of
you
sort of.
knew who liked Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts the way you did.
And the crazy part is that I've been working on this Kingdom Hearts video for a couple of years now, and this is another thing that is making like I thought that I would get so burnt out on Kingdom Hearts, focusing on such a huge Kingdom Hearts project.
Hmm.
But for this project, because it's gonna sound corny, I wanted to for this huge project, and I'm gonna do it going forward for like big projects like this. I wanted to reach out to a bunch of other creators,
Yeah, I think you've mentioned
specifically
that
ones that
before.
seem, yeah,
I saw
that
you
seem
posting something like that
passionate,
on Twitter.
yeah, that seemed passionate about the series, and started doing that a couple of years ago. Not everybody responded, but over time I started, like meeting a whole bunch of creators. Some of those creators are really good friends of mine now. Like
That's
Nobody
awesome.
Daxian is, I would consider Nobody Daxian one of my best friends now. I don't know if he feels that way. Dax, if you're watching, don't confirm that. I'd like to think that we're enemies. Anyways, like I met him at PAX West. I met Low-Key Matt. People, names that if you like Kingdom Hearts content, you'll recognize. Prodigy, XCD, all those people. Um, these people have been really wonderful, and that whole connection thing, I don't know, it's been one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done. It just made me like Kingdom Hearts even more. Like I could just list off all the gameplay reasons that I like it, but it has definitely affected me on like a deeply personal level too for my entire life.
Wow. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
had. I mean, I think we've all had some kind of series that's important to us like that, and I'm sure I had more than one series that I was the only person I knew who was like as
Yeah.
into it as I was. So I can definitely relate to that. So speaking of these collaborations and all of the work that you've been putting into like part two and everything, that actually leads into another question I had for you, which is what are some of the biggest obstacles that you've had to overcome in your video making process, and consequently, which video that you've released was the hardest for you to make?
Well, I can tell you now that there's a layered answer. So the number one answer for me here, and this is gosh, I want this video that you're making right now to succeed. Um, for because A, I want to see you succeed, and B,
We're
if you
just
have the
chilling.
symptoms for ADHD, for the love of God, if you have the ability to, please get treated for it. Because the biggest obstacle I have, believe it or not, is my inability to focus
Mm,
because of I what I think is a severe case of ADHD. Actually, I know it is. I'm
mm.
diagnosed. Medicine helps, but only to a certain degree. It is ADHD. I'm sorry, I'm doing a soapbox thing. ADHD is memed on and joked about all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you suffer from it or if you know anybody that does. Uh, People joke, I'm so ADHD. That's like, I'm not going to be offended if you say that, but people genuinely underestimate how debilitating it is.
Mm.
Having this horrible executive dysfunction, the inability to actually start things,
Yeah.
or better yet, the inability to finish things. ADHD sucks.
Hmm.
And I think that it's a part of my identity, but my life would be so much better if it wasn't something I had to fight against every single day. There are times where like people tell me that, oh, NIOSAI, you're so talented, you can do all this stuff. I'm not trying to glaze myself. This is what people tell me whenever I show them stuff that I'm doing. 9 times out of 10, the thing that I showed them was something that I was doing essentially because I got completely distracted,
Hmm.
right? And like for example, today, I had this list of things. I was like, I'm gonna get this done today. Like I'm gonna have this done, this done, this done. Then this video can come out. I'm working on a Dragon Ball video right now. You know about it.
Hmm.
I was supposed to do the narration for that today. Got sidetracked playing a game on my iPad for like 2 hours. Got sidetracked trying to learn how to 3D model a Pokemon card in Blender.
Oh, that's cool
Uh,
though. That's cool.
yeah,
That's a good thing to get sidetracked by. Learning Blender is
yeah.
that's a
Believe it or
useful
not,
skill.
learning Blender was a thing that I picked up from procrastinating and being
Hmm.
unable to focus. It has actually helped me a little bit, but like it's not all bad. But I think that legitimately, like this Kingdom Hearts video, right? This
Hmm.
first part was released 5 months ago, and I said in the video, and I was confident when I said it. It's like I can probably have the next part out in like the next like either anywhere from a couple weeks to a month. I mean, it's December as of this recording. It has been 5 months, and well, I'm optimistic I can have it out this month if I can finish this Dragon Ball projects I'm working on. Um, that is probably blind optimism. So, but the most challenging video, despite that, because I can't think of an obstacle larger than my literal inability to focus.
Yeah.
Like my debilitating, like not just like I get so distracted, like a straight up, like my mind will not let me focus, especially on repetitive tasks like editing and recording voiceover and script writing.
I mean,
Uh,
those are monotonous for anybody, you know. So
yeah.
if you have something like that, it makes it even harder. What are some things that you do to try to like rang that in and like utilize it to your benefit, or just cope with it to help you get some stuff done?
Uh, Spend a lot of time learning like if I'm doing something like the Blender thing, right?
Hmm.
I at the very least can try to be like, maybe this is something I can use to improve the video, which with the Blender thing, 100%,
Yeah,
actually. In
yeah.
fact, one of the things I'm working on in Blender right now is for the video that I've asked you to be a part of. And I think you'll actually really like the thing. I'll show it to you after this if you want to see it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but honestly, if I had the answer to some kind of catch-all thing to help, I would be implementing it. But I really don't know. Like I take the medicine, it helps, yet I still find myself getting distracted.
Have
I'm very
you
interested in what I'm doing. I don't know. You know,
Yeah. Have you
I have this like mental block.
have you ever pursued any like this is gonna sound silly, but like I don't know, like meditations or any just like little mental things or routines or stuff to kind of help you, or
So
is that really just not an option for the way that it affects you?
honestly, I just with the ADHD thing, there's
Hmm.
the sitting still. Obviously, that's an issue. I'm not literally like I'm making it sound a lot worse than it is, but like when it comes to like meditation and stuff, uh, because I'm always like having these racing thoughts and stuff, I can't get out of my own head.
Hmm.
Whereas I think meditation, the whole thing is you're trying to clear your mind. I don't think I could do that,
Mm.
even if I tried for months and months. And I just I can't see it as being something that could benefit me. I mean, I haven't necessarily tried it. It's not something that I have interest in trying. Like
Mm.
I would rather find a way to cope that pushes me forward rather than has me sitting still. It's hard to convey verbally why
I think I understand what you're saying though.
yeah, that's why
You're not trying to walk against the stream or push a
yeah,
boulder up a hill.
I found that the best thing for my sanity is to go with the flow.
Mm.
So when I do get distracted, I feel really bad about myself, but that's why I kind of veered into turning these distractions into something that I can use at least,
Yeah. Yeah,
that can enhance my art. I hate to say it like that, but
well, I mean, you definitely don't want to. I mean, there's been so many like studies and even just like people's firsthand testimonies on the fact that um, saying that putting yourself down or feeling really bad about
mhm.
things that you're having to deal with, it's not good on your mental state long term. So
Yeah, that is true.
it definitely would benefit you. I know things like this benefit me because I do that sometimes. I'm like, I feel bad because I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that. You okay,
I
buddy?
hear animal sounds.
Yeah, my puppy's having a nightmare.
What's
He's
the puppy's name?
he's Shadow. He's down there. He's a black chow chow.
Oh, that's what the background massive darkness is.
No, that's my
Uh,
laundry hamper.
oh,
You can't.
I thought that was the dog.
No, you can't see
That's on
him.
the internet now. I
Yeah, it's on
mistook
the
a laundry
internet.
hamper for a dog.
He was just having a little nightmare.
Oh,
Poor thing.
poor thing.
He seems okay now.
We
Yeah, but
stand black dogs, by the way. Boo
huh?
is black dog. Our dog is Boo. She's black
Oh,
dog. We stand black dogs.
okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
technically, he's a blue chow chow, which is that is apparently a color, but it's just it's black. It's like a different hue of black from actual
Hmm.
black.
Okay.
You can look it up. It's just a different hue,
You
but
didn't
he's
name him Trunks? I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was cringe. That was very cringe.
no.
Whew.
I went with the hedgehog meme. I've never even really
Wait, is it actually a Shadow reference?
kind of because he looks like
Shadow's a
a.
sick name though.
It is a great name for a black
Yeah.
dog, but he's chow chows are a real frizzy and they have like tall like
Hmm.
big mane, so I thought it was appropriate, even though I'm not really a fan of the Sonic
You're
games.
legally obligated to send me photos of this dog
Oh
after
yeah, of
this.
course. I'll
Yeah,
shoot you some photos.
I'm a big dog guy.
I was going on some.
More NIOSAI'S lore.
Oh yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going on some rant about just basically don't put yourself down. It's not good for your mental space, and if you can reorient that into a positive way, not to like start beating yourself up, it's probably. My girlfriend says this a lot. It's like shame is not a very good motivator. It has its time, it has its place, but if you're someone who has like a lot of ambitions and you want to get a lot of work done, shame is not a super great motivator most of the time. Again, there's exceptions. There have been times in my life where shame was a decent motivator, but overall, probably try to find
My
superior
spouse
alternatives.
gives the exact same kind of advice. So
Yeah,
yeah, you're probably right.
of
And
course,
your girlfriend's probably right.
people can feel free to disagree if they have their own testimonies. That's just been my experience. We'll move on to another question,
Sure.
which is, do you have a least favorite video that you've made?
So I'm not going to count videos where I had to play games I didn't enjoy, because there's like a
I've had a few.
there's
of
like
those.
a kind of, but when it comes to a least favorite video, you know, now obviously it's like, I don't want to kill my darlings, but there are some videos that I've made that I'm not the most proud of in hindsight. And so there's like making a video that you made and you're like, I think that's a pretty good video. But then there's also making a video that you made where you're like, did I phone it in hindsight? Like, I felt good about it at the time, but did I phone it in hindsight? And I think honestly, I kind of feel that with I hate to say it, I kind of feel that with a big chunk of I think I might be misremembering here. I hate to say it, probably Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Really, you kind
Yeah.
of feel like you phoned that one in at the time?
It's not one of the biggest comments that I got in that video. The video is called "I played every Dragon Ball Xenoverse game,"
Mm-hmm.
and you might say, "Oh, there's only two, right?" My technicality there is that Dragon Ball Online is a Xenoverse game. It was the first Xenoverse game.
I've never played online because it was only available. What was it, South Korea?
I think so, yeah.
How did you
But
play it?
believe it or
Did
not,
you like emulate it?
there's private servers.
Oh, private servers. Okay.
Yeah. But and it's not even live anymore. The official version, I don't believe, is even live anymore. Like when I played it, the game had already been shut down in most places. It was just the private servers that were up. But the thing is that I was like, yeah, I mean, like typically if a game series only has like one or two games, I'm not necessarily gonna pursue it as like a big retrospective thing. But with Xenoverse, there was a new game coming out, and I think that's why I decided to because The Breakers, believe it or not, is a Xenoverse game also.
I didn't know
Uh,
that.
yeah, you've played Xenoverse, yeah?
Yeah, 1 and 2. I didn't never
Yeah,
played online.
Content
or
City?
Breakers.
But you know Content City and Xenoverse
Yeah.
Xenoverse 2?
Yeah.
So in The Breakers, the little hub area that you run around before you actually start a match is literally right. You can see Content City from that hub area. It's like right next to
really?
it. It's the little floating island. Yeah.
Huh. I've never played the
And
Breakers, so that's interesting.
I started playing it for the first time a couple weeks ago because after this, sorry, I'm in talk shop for a second. After this Budokai video that I'm working on, I did this big Naruto thing where I was gonna originally do this really lazy thing where like blank hours of whatever to fall asleep to. Kind of that trend that's
Oh,
happening
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'd be an easy way to kind of make like a big compilation of my retrospectives. Then I started watching my older videos, and I was like, these could be improved, and I would feel weird putting like wildly different quality. So this project that was supposed to take 2 days ended up taking me about a month for the Naruto video. I ended up essentially remaking half those videos, re-recorded the voiceover for most of them. For the Dragon Ball one, my Dragon Ball videos have typically been a bit better. I'm going to be remaking Budokai, putting an end in there. But one thing that I'm going to be focusing on hard is the content of the Xenoverse video is not bad. It's just the fact that I really stretched kind of what I played every video can be. And so with that one, like, again, most of the comments are like, so the 2 games? I played 3, first off. I played 3 games. But anyways, now I can play 4 games, and I think that is a reasonable number for playing every game. I don't know. That's probably, when it comes to... Actually, you know what? I'm veering off in a different direction here for a second. You know what video I'm actually... I don't want to say least proud of, but mostly conflicted about?
What?
Let me make sure that this number is still correct. Yeah, it is the #1 performing video on my channel. It is my most popular video I ever made, and that is the Every Elder Scrolls game video. And the reason I'm conflicted about that one, is that I don't think I'd be where I am without that video. However, I had no idea what the hell I was doing when I made that video. This was before I was like full time. This is
Oh
before I
yeah,
was even
I get it.
trying to be a YouTuber. This was straight up like it is the reason I'm so conflicted with it is that if I were to remake that video now, it would be a multi-hour video, first off, not 26 minutes. How do you even cover every Elder Scrolls game in 26 minutes? Uh, Apparently poorly. But apparently people don't think that because it has 2 million views. Not the flex. That's insane.
I think there's a lot of people who actually probably really appreciated that they could get a super condensed version of the games in like under 30 minutes, you know.
So
That probably had a lot of appeal to it, I think.
so another peel back behind the curtain for a second. Future plans. Just sorry, I'm veering off again.
Sure.
So I've over time my videos are getting longer and longer, and I'm
Happens to
thinking
me
that yeah, and that's because I want to do more and more in every video. I want each video to be better than the last, in some aspect, not necessarily overall quality improvement, but like I want something that I did in a video to exceed what I did in any previous video, and I think I've stuck to that for the most part. Either some new editing thing or some new like production thing I threw in there. It's my mental process. It's one of the things that actually, believe it or not, lets me move past the ADHD thing because like one of the biggest things that causes dopamine is problem solving. And so when I create a problem for a video, and that's kind of why I veer off into different directions with random concepts in videos, like the Blender thing and the Dragon Ball Budokai thing. I would have no motivation for this Budokai thing if I wasn't throwing in something new on top of the new script and narration. Anyways,
life hack there.
a thing that I'm going to do in the future, I don't know when. It's going to have to be whenever I have like a better workflow and I have more time because the end of the year right now is super crazy for me. These videos, these multi-hour videos I'm making, I think what I want to do, and I don't know if it's going to be on my normal channel or if I'm going to make like a spin-off channel, I'm going to make a companion video to each video that is essentially the length of my older videos. So you can watch like Kingdom Hearts,
Like
for
a
example.
condensed version.
Kingdom Hearts, for example, yeah. You can watch the 12 plus hours that all three parts are going to be, or you can watch a 20-minute video that I'm going to make somewhere down the line that doesn't go into nearly as much depth, obviously, but is a kind of sort of general retrospective. And that's something that I want to do that I think I don't want to. I'm now more successful on YouTube than I was whenever I was making these shorter videos, but I still want to appeal because I think that was kind of some of the appeal of why my videos were doing so well at the beginning. Because I accidentally came up with an idea that no one else was really doing.
Right.
Which now, I'm not going to name any names. Some people are now making videos that very, very much are inspired by mine, to the point where I watched the video and I'm like, I've never interacted with this person, but I'm almost 100% sure that this video that they're making right now was directly inspired by my channel.
Do you feel good about that, or do you feel a little...
I feel very bad about that, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
One of the most recent examples was a person that started making full series retrospectives within the last year or two. And I started watching their channel like 10 times bigger than mine, right?
Yeah.
And I watched one of their videos. It's a video that I actually plan to make eventually. Their video, I'm not going to say what series it was because I don't want people trying to find this person.
Yeah,
and,
we don't...
like crapping on them.
We're trying to stay positive.
It was a long-running game series that they covered. Has an absurd number of titles. There's a reason I haven't covered it yet. They skipped a lot of games. Just completely skipped them. Did not even... And they had like a random side comment they threw in there that are like... I would get annihilated in my comments for missing even one game. Yet this person skips... Like, dude, I'm not even kidding. At least 50 games. That's how expansive this series is. And their commentary was as surface level as it gets. I'm sorry, I'm just ripping into somebody. It's one of those things where it's like, effort does not equal success. And that's the thing that makes me sad about it. Is that this person, they have some level of effort, right? To make a video is a cool thing in general, assuming that you're making content that is original and not stealing. And I'm not saying this person's stealing. I'm saying if you make a video,
you're saying
not like
you're not accusing them of that. You're just saying assuming you're putting in the work.
the thing that this person did is impressive given that they made a video. However, they very clearly could have put more effort into it,
Maybe
into that video.
maybe we can kind of turn that into maybe more of a positive, kind of critique idea. It's like, for future reference, if you are excited about getting into the content creation game,
Everybody starts somewhere.
yeah, of course, everybody starts somewhere.
I don't want to seem like I'm trying to drag this person.
Yeah, of course.
Like I don't own the concept of the retrospective,
Obviously,
right?
yeah.
It was more of like I'm more. I'll be forward. I'm jealous that this person can make a video that is essentially the antithesis of my ethos to making a video, where they just skip a bunch of stuff and barely talk about some things. And the thing I'm jealous about is that way more successful with not even a percentage of the effort on their part as far as like their actual coverage, and two, no negative comments that I could find. I actually looked at the comments and I was like, I would really be getting grilled for missing even a single one of these games, but these people are like, wow, great stuff. So it's jealousy.
Yeah, well, at least, I mean, it's always good to kind of acknowledge that, all right, yeah, maybe I'm a little salty. I have that happen to me too, I've caught myself in the past watching someone else's video and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, dang, this is really good. And they're huge and I feel myself getting a little bit salty about it and I have to be like, okay, chill out. It's fine. Yeah. I'm actually really happy for them. You know what I mean? It's natural. It's natural.
And my spouse tells me the same thing. They're like, you can't be comparing yourself to other people because like
comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly. And they were like, this person that's making this stuff, like, you're going to make that video eventually. And even if your video doesn't perform as well down the line, which it couldn't, you never know. That's YouTube. For anybody wanting to get into YouTube, that is also the truth. It's very impressive to release a video, but it's also, it's a gamble every time.
The algorithm is a little bit mysterious.
Yeah, like I'll know in my heart that I feel, and again, this is not to drag anybody. I'll know in my heart that I made the video that I wanted to make, that I think is, gonna be better. And that doesn't mean that every time I make a video on a subject that's already been made, I'm going to make a better video. For example, just to kind of give an opposite end of where I saw a video that somebody made and I was kind of jealous, but for a different reason. I am going to name this person because this person made a genuinely good video that I think people should watch. My next small project, before I started working on, actually, I'm still on my channel. It was before I started working on it was which video was it? It had to have been my, I don't know. There was a retrospective. It might have been this Budokai video. My timeline's getting longer and longer. Anyways, the next project was not going to be whatever the project I ended up settling on was. It was going to be Starfox, believe it or not. And
that would be fun.
Yeah, I have evidence of this on my Twitter. I was like, I'm going to reach out to some Starfox creators. And then I found out that concept doesn't really exist. Like,
there are no Starfox creators, huh?
Yeah, like they exist as far as like artists and stuff, people that use like the Starfox art style. But as far as people that just talk about Starfox on YouTube in any like major way outside of like just being a fan, you won't find it. Which I guess it makes sense. It's kind of a niche series that's also very dormant. But whenever
have you made your Starfox stuff already?
No, because literally the day I started like drafting up a script and putting the bones together, Gilly the Kid released a video called A Journey Through Every Starfox Game. And it's an excellent video, by the way. But man, like...
You felt a little beat to the punch.
It was like, God, like I'm still going to make the video, for the record. And the way that Gilly the Kid tackles it is very different from the way I would tackle it. Our videos would be very different. They would still cover the same games, but they'd be different stylistically and content, etc. However, I will say that... I don't know, like it kind of goes both ways. I'll be jealous for different reasons. I'll be jealous that someone did it first. I'll be jealous that someone did it second, but got more success. It's very layered.
Okay.
I don't want to seem like I'm just like constantly like just being like, I can't believe this. Again, I don't own the concept of retrospective.
Well, that's part of the game. You get really excited about an idea, and then somehow you find that happened to me recently. I had this really elaborate idea, this really cool idea for how I was going to approach covering this RPG I wanted to talk about. And I'd already started workshopping the idea. I'd already started like kind of drafting up a script based on this concept. And then like after a couple of weeks of doing it, someone released a video doing the exact method for the exact same game. It was the same method that I had been workshopping for the exact same game I was talking about. It was, I caught it the day it was like uploaded, because like I just watched content. It was in my algorithm, and I was like, oh man, I was like, it knocked the wind out of my sails so bad that I just said, okay, I'm gonna shelf this game for a while. I'm gonna go talk about some other stuff, and eventually I'll meander back to this idea when I'm a little less upset, or when I can think of a different, like, more unique way to approach it, because the person who did it did a really, really good job.
And that hurts even more, is when the person who did it so good, and you're just like, ooh, that's like with the
You're
like, I'm happy for them, and I'm glad, but
like,
man, it could have been me.
You nailed it. Yeah. Yeah,
I'd rather be mad about that than about the other thing that I mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would much rather be frustrated because, like, oh, you did a really good job.
A frustration of admiration.
Yeah, that's the best kind. Yeah, that's rough, man. That's part of the territory.
Yeah.
There was something else I had some other questions I wanted to ask, because we're talking about video ideas that we wanted to do. We're talking about, like, we had these ideas and then someone kind of swept in and took them first. But are there any, like, big dream projects or, like, videos that you've thought about taking on before, but they're just too big to the point where you're like, okay, I need to wait until maybe I have some more evergreen content. Maybe I can feel comfortable, like, not releasing anything for like a couple months, so I can really just try to tackle this enormous project. Because I've got a couple like that where I'm like, man, I want to do this, but I would run out of money trying to do this right now.
Yes.
So I have to shelf it indefinitely. But if certain criteria are met, I can dive into this and actually do this huge, like, project. Do you have anything like that?
Yes, actually, I have a few. So first off, the Kingdom Hearts video is that it's not the thing. It's not my answer, but that Kingdom Hearts video,
Okay,
I
but that
can't
was
work
your
on anything
original.
while I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But no, that the Kingdom Hearts video was actually not the thing. I'm just saying that it ended up being a thing where it's like, I can't do anything while I'm working on this. It's too big. But the project that I can't even really start because I know it's going to be too big, it would bankrupt me. It's something that I don't even know where I don't even know where I would start to, because sometimes you'll have an idea for something and you're like, I mean, I could try doing this, but I would probably fail because I don't have the resources required, be it money, connections. That's a big one, believe it or not. Because my dream project, I'll be real, it is to, have you ever seen No Clips documentaries?
I think I have, like, one.
So No Clip makes, like, it's similar. It's not exactly the same thing I want to do. They make documentaries about video game developers, video games themselves, where they talk to a bunch of people that were involved. They go over the history of development. I see a gap, and this is, again, a Kingdom Hearts thing. It's also a Final Fantasy thing and a few other franchises. It's an idea that is one video, but it could be multiple videos because the idea is so exciting to me. It's something that I would love to do, but I'd have to start somewhere. So I would start with Kingdom Hearts because that's, like, my territory. I know that. My idea is literally an expansive, like, feature length, not longer, not shorter, not like this retrospective that's like 12 hours, like maybe a 1.5 to 2 hour documentary going inside of Kingdom Hearts. Not the games itself, the development of the games, talking to people that were involved in the creation of the games.
Right, I see.
Like, there's so many barriers to doing that.
Yeah,
I haven't even tried
especially
yet.
with Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, there's a lot of barriers there.
Yeah, there's the language barrier. There's the fact that these people are in Japan. There's the fact that Disney is involved. There's the fact that a lot of big names that wouldn't normally be involved in the video game industry are involved that add even more barriers to it. There's just so many things that would stop me. And believe it or not, for my Kingdom Hearts retrospective, I've already attempted to get in touch with some, like, people that were involved in the series. I've managed to interview one person, and that was from my first video. And that person was arguably indirectly involved with the series. It was still a really cool interview. It was one of the highlights. But, like, the fact that, like, I'm just getting stonewalled at every turn doing this tells me that, like, the documentary idea, that is something I'm going to have to, like, I don't know, I'm going to have to, like, amass clout or something. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But that is my pipe dream project, is making a feature-length documentary.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's a really unique answer, too. Because I'll be honest, obviously this is, like, the first episode I'm doing of this, but I've asked similar questions to that to a lot of different people, a lot of different content creators, because I'm friends with a lot of different like YouTubers at this point, and most of the time, the answer is the same. And I think if to a degree, it's somewhere deep. It's kind of the same for me too. But most of the time, the answer is, I want to make my own indie game.
That's fair.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Love indie games.
Yeah, no.
Want to support anybody making their game. But and even if that was your answer, I would be excited. I would want to hear. I would want to hear about it. I'd want to hear the answer. But I think it's cool that your answer wasn't that, because what you're talking about isn't something I've really heard somebody talk about wanting to do. Because there have been documentaries on the development of video games. Valve just put out that one that they themselves produced about Half-Life
really
2,
cool.
which was great. I think there is a shortage of like really good, high quality documentaries about the development of games. There was that one that they did a while ago called FPS that was about like first person shooters, but it was bigger. It was more like, just a bunch of different games. So that's a really cool idea. I would love to see, maybe a couple years down the line, love to see you be able to tackle that. Maybe probably not with Kingdom Hearts. Maybe start with something where there's not like
it'd have to be something
international
more
barrier, something Western maybe.
I'm very go big or go home. So my brain is like, it has to be. I still haven't played those games yet.
Really? Are you a sci-fi fan?
Yeah. I actually attempted to play Mass Effect 2 back in 2009.
That was the year it came out.
Yeah, and I was with my best friend who was a big fan of the series, and could not get into it at the time. That was back when I was still not on ADHD meds, so I had a long period of time where I couldn't finish any video game. But no, I own the Legendary Collection, and I do plan to I have this giant list.
On your list.
I have this, not even my backlog. It's a giant list of videos I want to make, and Mass Effect is shockingly high up there. Yeah.
Can we, what are, not necessarily in order, but what are 3 games that are on that list somewhere near the top of the list that you haven't played but you really want to?
Does the reason I want to play it matter? Because my answers are different. So
just the 3 that come to mind on your backlog that you haven't played but you want to.
Okay, so the 3 that I haven't played but I want to, for just without specifying specific reasons, Pokemon. God, let me open the list, actually. I have the list right here. Let me just look at it. Wait, I have a hyperlink. It's going to make me log in. I'm sorry. This is really just, this is not what anyone would want. I'm so sorry. Your retention is just falling in real time. Oh, God.
All our
everybody's
ADHD
gone.
guys.
Oh, it's all gone. I'm going to have to open it up in a... Oh, boy.
I can have a couple edits. It'll be fine.
Just anytime I'm talking, you're just like, you don't need that part. I'm
gonna jump cut you.
It's just a whole video of you. Like, I'm there. I never say anything. You're just asking questions in rapid succession, and you don't let me say anything. You cut out any time that I talked.
It's like 1 minute and 12 seconds long.
And they're just like, I think this guy's gone insane.
I do it like that one Randy Savage video where I let you start to talk, but you don't. You're like, and then it cuts.
Yeah, exactly. So, when it comes to videos that are kind of high up on the list, you have Pokemon, there's Metal Gear Solid, and I'm scrolling through this because they're not actually ordered. I have like little priority color things next to them. I haven't admitted, have I? Trying to see. Oh, wow. I only have 2 in the high priority right now. Again, I have like my own internal sorting system. The 2 that I actually want to play, that I actually like really, really want to play, but just haven't yet, not counting the next video, which is going to be Final Fantasy after Kingdom Hearts stuff is done. But Pokemon, Metal Gear Solid, and weirdly enough, Devil May Cry for some reason. I don't remember why it's so high up there.
You've never played Devil May Cry?
So, yes and no. I've played a little bit of Devil May Cry 4 at a friend's house one time. And then I also
Devil May Cry.
I also played a little bit of Chaos Legion back in the day, which is explicitly not Devil May Cry, and it's okay, but so this is, again, it's a tangent. I can never execute April Fool's ideas because I'm always scared to, because I'm scared that not to insult the intelligence of the average viewer, but I'm scared somebody's going to see it and think I'm like playing it straight. and being serious.
Yeah,
And
I
then
have
in
a
that dip.
really I not to interrupt you, but
No,
I've
go
had
for it.
multiple like April Fool's video ideas that I didn't end up executing. I am basically committed to my 2025 April's Fool's video because it's so good.
Oh,
Try
God.
try to remember to ask me about it when we're done, because you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
you specifically will love this. Anyways,
man.
yeah, you were saying about Devil May Cry.
Yeah, so I one of my go-to April Fool's ideas, which again I can't do, which you'll as somebody that looks at YouTube analytics, you'll know exactly why I can't do this. I would make a video called "I played every Devil May Cry game that matters," and it would just be DMC. That would be the whole video. I'd be like, "All right, thanks for watching, bye," and it would be a completely full retrospective of just DMC.
Yeah, just DMC. That is
Yep.
a really, I mean, you could probably get away with it if you, not a good idea, by the way, but you could probably get away with it if you had thumbnails for it
Oh my
being
God.
a DMC retrospect, right? And just after April 1st, you change the title and the thumbnail and everything associated with it to reflect what it actually is. But just on release day, it was, and then just every April Fool, you make a note to go back and change it for the day. So every year you go in, you change it to every Devil May Cry game that matters.
Yeah, I just feel like somebody would see that and they wouldn't get the joke. They wouldn't look at the date. And they'd be like,
And they'd think
"This
you
is,
were
I feel
serious.
misled. I feel, like I wasted my time." Which again, I would try so hard to make it a really good DMC retrospective. But I thought about this for multiple years, believe it or not, and the only way I can really shake it working out is if I did that, but as part of an actual DMC retrospective, have that video ready to come out April 2nd and then just unlist the original. But I don't think YouTube's algorithm would like that at all.
No, it wouldn't. That'd probably be
Yeah.
really bad.
My second, just a side note, my second favorite April Fool's idea, which would actually be funny and there's no way anybody can misconstrue it. Somebody was like, this is actually a recent recommendation within the last few months. Somebody said, "Why don't you make like a video where I watched every NIOSAI'S video?" And that sounds like torture, because nobody likes hearing their own voice and nobody likes watching their old cringy videos. B, I think people underestimate how long that video would be.
That is a great idea for like a 24-hour like live stream like thing.
Like that time Shia LaBeouf watched all his movies in one
Yeah,
sitting.
yeah. But you could, I mean, you could do that in like maybe like for charity or something, and you just sit
actually,
there
yeah.
for like 24 hours and you just, and then after that take a week break and not work on content because you're.
I would have
dead.
to take a week break from like being awake after that point, having to listen to my own. The fact I look at the analytics on a video, it's like, it's 40,000 watch hours. It's like, how does somebody listen to my voice for that? It's not one guy watching
Yeah,
for 40 hours, obviously, but how can how can 40 hours worth of my voice in this video alone have been broadcast to people's ears and them not like have their head explode out of just sheer cringe? And
I think most people's voices sound worse to them than they.
yeah, it's an
do-
actual proven phenomenon, like scientifically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
people do
that's-
not like their own voices.
Yeah, it's just the case.
Yeah. Anyways, I feel like I don't even remember. Oh, what was the original question that I completely veered away from?
Just the
Just to
games
make
on
sure I
your-
actually
the
answered
games
it.
on your backlog, which you already answered the question, but that's fine because
Yeah.
I have more. This one is a little bit different. This is something
Okay.
I'm actually curious about for a lot of different content creators, and I plan to probably keep asking this in later episodes. But in a lot of ways, what we do is kind of a dream job. Like,
yeah.
we're aware of that. We know that to be the case. We love what we do. And it's a little cushy and it's kind of a dream job, but it is a lot of work. I know I work a lot of 10-hour days. Sometimes I'll work 12 hours straight.
Shadow.
Did you see him back there?
That was Shadow. That wasn't your laundry. I was looking at Shadow.
Yeah,
That definitely was Shadow because
he
the
was
lump
just
of
moving.
darkness is gone.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
just
but
moving.
the thing I've been redeemed because that lump of darkness that I originally thought was Shadow and you said it was your laundry actually
well,
was Shadow.
Maybe he was moving then. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
'Cause he
Anyways,
laid
keep
down
going. I'm
now.
so sorry for interrupting you.
I was just saying that the job we do, it is cushy. It is kind of a dream job, but it is a lot of work. This probably isn't the case with most YouTubers, but with like the long form scripted stuff, one script will be 25,000 words. It's and they go, they vary, but it is a lot of work. My girlfriend even says that all I do is work. I'm always writing or doing something. So with that to be the case, and considering that for the first couple of years you're not making enough to live on,
Nope.
I was borrowing money from my parents for the first year or so because I started YouTube because I got laid off of my original job, and I was applying for other jobs, and I was just doing the YouTube in the meantime, and eventually it kind of stabled out and I was making enough revenue to pay my bills, but it's not much, you know? Um, what happened to make you start pursuing that? What was, because it's a pretty massive risk, honestly. Even after you have like more subscribers, it maintains a level of risk factor. So what made you get into this? What made you start doing it?
So, really quickly, I just want to throw out um, YouTube is it's a dream job. I love doing it.
Yeah, great.
Uh,
Yeah, we
there are some months where I still don't make enough.
Oh yeah,
Um,
same.
the only reason I'm able to do this full time, even during those times, is because I have a very supportive spouse who really, really believes in me and thinks that I'm going to someday be at a place where, we're going to be okay. And I really want to give a huge shout out to Birbsai. Birbsai is amazing, has supported me. Only reason we're having this conversation right now is because Birbsai has made me not give up multiple times. Uh, I can go into why I started doing this. It is a little bit depressing. I hope
Mm.
that's okay. I mean,
No,
it
that you can.
depends.
That's fine. You know, if it just
Okay.
whatever you are comfortable putting out
I
there.
have
You know,
I have
that's
never oh no, I don't mind. I've never told this story publicly. I did put it in like a little document for patrons at one point that so it's not like I'm trying to hide it. So, back in 2020, was it 2021 when I started? I think it was. I've had a YouTube this YouTube channel has existed since 2006, by the way. Uh but I didn't start like making content until 2021, and the reason for that is I was unemployed at the time
Mhm.
and I was going through some stuff. My mother, uh, one of my best friends in the whole world, she was having some health issues. And in late 2021, I was unemployed, so just not busy, right? Had nothing to distract me with, and my mom's health was getting worse. And so, I'm not gonna start crying, by the way. I'm just trying to make sure I get this out eloquently.
It's all right.
Um, so my mom's health started getting worse, and I needed something to distract myself. And I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I saw one video, which this is another NIOSAI lore. One of the things that led to the creation of my first retrospective video was I watched a video where a guy, I do not remember his name. I feel so bad, but I do know how to find him because A, I could just look up this video, and B, I believe he's really good friends with Scott the Woz. But he made a video where he played, I think, every Call of Duty campaign. And I was watching that video and I was like, meh, that'd be kind of fun to do. Do I have any like game series where I own every game? And I looked and I was like, I own every Soul Calibur game. I could do that. I could make like a little like video because like I had made videos before, but it was never like a thing. I wasn't like adept at editing or anything,
Mhm.
at script writing, etc. In fact, don't watch that video. It's it has not aged well. I've remade it since, but it was the Soul Calibur games. So I started playing them, just to kind of get my mind off of things. Put that video together. Um, it was fun. I liked doing it, and I was like, are there any other series? Like I released it and it got like 8 views in the first week. It was actually pretty exciting.
Doing
Um,
numbers.
yeah. So after that video, I was like, that was a lot of fun. Like I was just doing it for fun, right, and to get my
Yeah.
mind off of things. And so I made. I was like, is there anything else? I own almost every JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game. And so I got the two that I didn't own, which were two Japanese exclusive games. Uh, like that was all. That was it. So three actually Japanese exclusive games, and I got them. Started playing the games, made the video, put it together, put it on YouTube. Didn't really have time to look at the reception because I'd found out that my mom was sent back to the hospital. And literally, like within a week of releasing that video, because the video was again not really doing numbers. Within like a week of releasing that video, it was actually more like within 2 or 3 days. Me and my spouse drove up to it was a few hours away where my mom was in the hospital, and we thought like her going to the hospital, it was just like she got moved there because they had like a specialist care. They
Mhm.
were looking into getting her a lung transplant, believe it or not. Like she was, like we were having conversations, like she was totally good, everything was looking fine.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we're gonna look into doing a lung transplant. My mom's like, cool stuff. And over the course of like that 3 or 4 days, I was checking my YouTube thing because I hadn't checked it in like 2 days, and I checked and I was like, whoa, my video jumped up to like 10,000 views, my JoJo video.
Yeah.
And I even showed it to my mom, and she was like, "Oh, good deal. That's really cool." And like uh, the next day after I noticed that video was blowing up, everybody, including my mom, got the news that she was not eligible for a transplant and would essentially be dying in the near future. And so that was a bummer. And so essentially, it was one of the most traumatic things that's ever happened to me.
Right.
My mom passed away. Very, very bad. Should probably go to therapy for this. I'm not going to go into details, but the
Okay. Yeah.
details of it would lead to some therapy. But I kind of self-medicated. And by self-medicating, I mean I went home after my mom passed away. And when I got home, my dog, who I've had since, her name's Coco. I had her since, this was in 2021. I had her since 2011. She was like 10 years old. The most angry, little, hateful, spiteful thing in the world. Loved me to
Oh
death,
no.
hated
No.
everybody else. She was having issues.
Oh
So we take her
no.
to the vet, and they're like, "Oh, she's an organ failure."
Oh.
She turns out if you don't get a girl dog fixed, they have a chance of developing something called a pyometra
Hmm.
or pyometria. It's one of the two, which is bleeding from the uterus, I believe, but not like the kind of like spotting that dogs do when they're in heat.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like ruptured. And
Oh
if gone
no.
untreated for long enough, which at the time she didn't have the warning signs for it, she was just being lethargic and stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
when she started having like I'm not gonna go on, it's kind of gross. She started having some very visible signs that there was
Yeah.
something very wrong. So within 48 hours of losing my mom, I also lost my dog.
Oh
Um,
man. I'm really
it was
sorry
it
about
was
that.
uh, I mean, unless it's your fault. No need to apologize. I'm just kidding. It's like,
Well,
did you have something to do with that? No, I'm
hey,
kidding.
you don't. You. Where was I? You don't know where I was at the time.
That's true. We didn't know each other at the time.
No, but for real, you
Very,
have
very
my
efficient.
condolences.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. But like obviously, like the YouTube thing, like I was gonna continue, but I very much needed to get my mind off of everything. I was having a
Yeah.
very bad time. My spouse was also. I don't want to diminish my spouse. My spouse was also going through it, but even despite that, they supported me. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep making things. Just
Yeah.
gonna keep making videos, ride out this wave. I assumed it was only gonna last a couple of months, and then my channel would die again, and I'd just go back to looking for a job. But I was like, well, in this video, all the comments are like, you need to play the Roblox games. So I was like, those aren't really official games, but yeah, sure, whatever. And I still get comments like that, even though in my new JoJo video, I explicitly say, this is me saying this publicly, I explicitly say in that video, I don't typically cover fan games and unofficial games in my retrospective videos, but I'm not opposed to making separate videos dedicated to those. You wouldn't believe, like, I would say 30% of the comments in the video are so, you forgot, this obscure Roblox game. Like, okay. Anyways, so I made that Roblox video, and my fun really, it's like one of those somebody just said something really, really like messed up, and just kind of was like, uh, that Roblox video that from 2021. If you go and watch that video, just know that the guy who played that game, recorded that voiceover, posted that video on YouTube, hit that post button, did that within I want to say like 5 days of losing his mother and dog.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Some
that is,
energy. There's some
you know
energy
somebody's
attached to that
depressed when they make a
video.
Roblox video. No, I'm just kidding. But so essentially, though, I just kept making things as a coping mechanism, believe it or not. And then over time, my channel kept growing, and so I just kind of fell into it. And uh, I wanted to actually kind of expound. I wanted to kind of segue this into expounding on something you said earlier about
Yeah.
how like anybody can do the YouTube thing, right? They just
Hmm.
gotta make stuff. Um, I don't want to be a downer, but I do want to say that if you want to be a YouTuber, that's okay. It's okay to want to be a YouTuber, and I know that it's coming from a very privileged perspective because I do this full time. Um, I never meant to be a YouTuber. It was never something that I planned. It was never something I thought I'd be doing. I had a passing interest. I made a YouTube video, obviously, but I never in a million years expected it to blow up. And it taught me a very valuable lesson about aspiring YouTubers.
What's that?
It is, no one wants to say this. YouTube is, and always will be probably, and always has been, a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
There is zero like there you can optimize SEO, you can chase trends. There's no way to know you're going to succeed on YouTube. If you are hearing this and for some reason want to be a YouTuber and don't know where to start, the first thing that you're going to regret is not starting sooner. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing you're going to regret is doing it because you want to be a big shot YouTuber. Do it because you want to put stuff out there and be creative. Do it because you think it's fun. It doesn't matter the reason, right? Don't do it just because you want to be a big shot YouTuber. That's a mistake, I promise. Because it is luck. It is 100% a lottery. Most people don't win that lottery. I just got incredibly. You are more likely probably to win the lottery, the actual lottery, 10 times than make it on YouTube. I'm gonna be real. I, it's really brutal to say, but like, it's just I couldn't tell you why my videos blew up at the beginning. I'm thankful it happened, but like.
Yeah.
I didn't plan it. And I actually feel a little bit bad that some people like really fight really hard to become YouTubers. They really want to be where I am right now. And I'm privileged, I'm thankful. But there's no like for sure path. Some people I've seen some really talented people, like some really talented like people that make YouTube comment gets like 20 views.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like something that like I'm impressed by. I'm like, God, this video must, because it was in my recommended feed. This actually happened to me a few days ago. I was watching a video. It was a really, really cool video. This dude, he was like an engineer. I don't even know if he's an engineer, but he was building like a robot that folds shirts. And I was like, oh wow, this is a really neat video. And I looked, it had like 38 views or something. And I'm like, how? How does this guy have like 17 subscribers?
Yeah,
He's
well,
so talented. And the video had like great narration, great, like he was like doing all these cool like I don't know if he edited it himself or he had somebody edit it. Whoever edited it knew what they were doing, is what I'm trying to say. And it's one of those things where it's like you can have all the raw talent and everything. You can like try. I just hope that you go into it because you want to make something or you have like a reason. Like I went into it because I just needed a distraction and I thought it was kind of fun. It was a really good way of distracting me. It's one of those things. Don't go into it expecting success. Like hard work always pays off in the end, except for like YouTube. I feel like YouTube is just the hard work pays off if you make it. Big asterisk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My spouse, don't walk in the frame if you don't want to be seen. Yeah. Welcome home. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's all right.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm listening to you rant about this whole hard work pays off.
I'm not saying anything I've never told you, am I?
No.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy to hear you say that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's the person that you just heard in the background is the reason I'm able to do this. Shout out to Birbsai. Birbsai's trying really hard. Don't go any further than that point if you don't want to be in the. Okay. Yeah.
There we go. Cameo. Birbsai cameo.
Birbsai cameo. Anyways, it sounded like you were gonna say something.
I'm gonna start grinding.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, in regards to being a YouTuber, the kind of content that you make matters a lot as well.
True.
Because the thing is, you and me happen to be making content in a field that involves enormous scripts and playing through video games that are meant to take like 12 hours of time to beat, and then going into detail about the levels, and it is not at all the same as someone who is doing like, I don't know, like a fitness tutorial, you know, where they head into the gym, they turn on their mic, they show off an exercise, they talk a little bit about that exercise, you know, or people who talk about like news or current events where they just kind of reflect on what happened and then maybe offer an opinion or something. The kind of content we make is immensely more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot more involved. That's what I would say. So if somebody wants to but it's probably a little less competitive than some of those other fields, but if somebody does want to get into YouTube, like, monitor what you're doing, because if you end up doing the kind of content we're doing, if you want to make long form retrospectives about video games or something, just you better love it.
Yeah, I will say that
love it.
I sometimes have said, like, I don't actually mean this, but I kind of sort of mean this, like 10%. I really wish that when I blew up, it wasn't for playing every game in a series, because oh boy, I did not realize how exponential the work would become. And another thing, actually, to add on to what you said, and also to add on to what I said, one extra addendum here is that you only see the final product whenever you're watching a YouTube video. You do not see everything else. Whenever people watch my videos, I hope that they don't look at them and say, wow, this dude gets to play video games all day, and then he gets to make these videos. For most videos, I probably spend more time sitting in a silent room with a headset on in front of like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Audition or Google Docs than I do actually playing the game.
Yeah, I would say in my video production, playing the game is probably 10 to 12% of the entire process.
Yeah.
Most of it is editing the video or writing the script.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's not like we're sitting around playing video games and being like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go talk about this."
It is not glamorous like people probably think it is. And some people, like, you either love or hate editing or you just tolerate it. I switch between those like modes all the time. There's sometimes where I'm like, whoa, I just did the coolest thing that I didn't think I could do. Sometimes I'm like, I really have to find B-roll. I have to search through hours of footage to find this specific thing I'm talking about. And that's where the ADHD hits me. But like,
I'm somewhere between tolerate and love editing. I'm somewhere between those two. I do like editing. My least favorite part of the process is recording voice. I think recording voice and editing voice. That is my least favorite part of the process.
My least favorite part is specifically editing voice. So yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I don't mind the writing process so much. Just I have a bachelor's degree in English, right? So I
respect that.
Yeah, I've been writing for a really long time. I've written 3 books. They used to be published. They're not anymore. You won't find them anywhere. They're gone. They don't exist. But
Are they good?
I've written no. That's why they're not up. That's why they don't exist.
I knew what your answer would be to that, because the fact that you're not advertising tells me that you've probably improved since then. And if you could go back, would you redo them?
I don't think I would do them, probably.
Okay. If you could go back, would you write something? Have your standards increased, I guess is my question.
Oh, yeah. Completely different.
Okay. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier.
It's one of those things. This is some Evan Prince lore, I guess.
I'm down.
I wrote my first book when I was 17 and 18. Like full, it wasn't really a novel. It was what they call a novella. Because I think it was like 55,000 words, which is, I mean, for a 17-year-old, you know what I mean?
That's a lot.
I'll say this: there's nothing else. There was nothing else like it. It was very strange. It was a very strange little novel. It was very bizarre. It wasn't very good, but it was very strange. It had a lot of odd world building. It was very surreal. I'll tell you what, it was extremely try hard. Because when I was 17, I had like long emo hair, bangs in my eyes. I painted my nails black. I was like that, I was listening to screamo music. Yeah, I was listening to Under Oath and Alisana. So that kid wrote.
So whenever you're not on camera, how you look right now too. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, not so much anymore. Yeah, but that first book was very try hard, very edgy and surreal, and I liked David Lynch and stuff like that. And then the later 2 books were different from that. But the point of all that is I've written a lot. Writing is easy. It comes naturally to me. I've been writing since I was a teenager. So the writing the scripts part, that's not so bad for me.
I'm shocked we've never bonded over this before, because I was a journalism major.
Oh,
and
really?
Like writing's like writing and English are like my whole deal. Like that's that I'm known for that.
Yeah, I took 4 years of creative writing.
Yeah, I did not graduate. I am 1 semester away from my bachelor's, and I made the glorious decision. Don't do this, by the way. I made the glorious decision to drop out to focus on YouTube in my last semester. But
if you're that close, I mean, you probably
also
just.
Games journalism is not, which hopefully this shed some insight into the documentary thing. I was in journalism because I wanted to be like a gaming journalist. I wanted to write reviews. I wanted to make gaming related videos. The thing that I wanted to do, I am now doing.
Yeah. So why? Yeah. Well, I mean, if you only had 1 semester left, I probably would have.
I know, but that also costs money.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You were on student loans, I guess, or.
I was.
Okay. See, I was. I avoided that through scholarships. So I scored high enough on my ACT to get me into community college. And then while at that community college, I joined 3 different honor societies and was in positions in those honor societies. And I wrote a lot of essays, and I applied for so many scholarships that actually paid my way through almost all of my university. My parents had to pay for the final, it was called a trimester where I went, but the final trimester, and they just paid out of pocket because I had made the rest with scholarships. But that's a little bit of a different case. I know student loans are a huge factor in a lot of people's lives.
I can actually tie this back to something. The thing that you just said is definitely what most people should do. Like if you're somebody like that is about to go to college or planning on going to college, apply for literally every scholarship you can, and that it makes sense to apply for. Obviously,
there's some statistic. It's like $17 million in scholarship money goes unclaimed every year.
Yeah.
It's an absurd number. Yeah, apply for scholarships.
But I can tie this back. Would you like to know why I didn't have all that many scholarships? It's not trying to flex and say, oh, I could have gotten them. No, but I didn't apply because I forgot, because I wasn't treated for ADHD. Genuinely, get treated for ADHD if you think you have it, or at the very least get confirmation, speak to somebody, because it holds you back in so many ways. Like I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm blaming everything on the ADHD. Looking after I had like my treatment and stuff, I can look back now, like from the other side, and say, wow, if I didn't have ADHD, this would have gone much differently. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail there. I just wanted to say that fun PSA, apply for scholarships, see if you have ADHD if you think you do.
And and everybody's experience is going to be different. We're just two schmucks on YouTube. Don't take what we're saying as gospel.
This is not medical advice. This is just general advice to seek a professional's opinion.
We're just two guys hanging out talking, and we hope that you're enjoying the content. You don't have to agree with everything we say. Maybe college isn't for you. Maybe you want to trade. Trade school.
That's true.
Is very valid if you want to pursue trade school.
It's also better money than a lot of degrees. Real.
Way better money in most trade fields. Or you could try to win the lottery and get a YouTube channel.
I can tell you now, the trades, most entry level trades, make more money than I make right now as a full time YouTuber. In fact, some non-degree, non-trade jobs make a lot more money than I make as a YouTuber.
I know a couple of welders who make lots of money.
I know an electrician who makes bonkers money.
I know a guy I know works on a barge. So he's like 4 weeks on, 4 weeks at home. So he's home every 4 weeks. He just does nothing, but he makes huge money. It's hard work, really hard physical work working on a barge. But like, point is, you don't, there's options.
Oh yeah, college is not the only path. It was just the path that I specifically chose, and clearly you chose.
Yeah, I chose it because I had it in my head that I was going to figure out some job to do, and I was going to pursue fiction, like fiction writing, like novels. And
novelists are famously, able to survive on the proceeds from their novels. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to roast you there.
No, well, I didn't pursue that route. I didn't actually want to write novels, by the way. I wanted to pursue. When I was a kid, I wanted to write narratives for like video games. Duh, obviously.
That's cool. That would be such a cool job.
But yeah, it's such a cool job. Nobody gets to do it unless they have all the connections in the world, basically. So at some point I realized that's probably not going to happen unless I like start my own studio, or like I learn to code or something, which is something I'm currently pursuing. I'm trying to learn how to. That's a whole different thing. But I ended up wanting to. That's why I pursued a degree in English, is because I wanted to pursue novel writing. Because I was like, okay, well, I get to do I did it at 17. I can do everything. I can create huge worlds. I can build them out however I want, and I can just shove them on Amazon. And it was really the creativity aspect of it for me. We don't have to get into this too much, but this is a topic I want to explore in depth, like maybe on my own time. But I actually think there's a point in every like creative artist's career where they need to have an artistic ego death, because that kind of auteur spirit, that doesn't work for most people. That feeling, that idea of like, oh, it's about the art. I want the art to come first. I want the sincerity in the art. That will screw you. Yeah, probably don't do that, or maybe like earn the right to do that, because I was in a band and I wrote all of the music. I wrote the music and I wrote the lyrics, and then my band members would come in and like refine it. So the drummer would like rewrite the drum parts a little bit, and the guitar player would like rewrite the guitar parts to be better. I'm probably the number one reason why that band sucked, because I think the music was fine. I just was so obsessive over being unique and artistic and, whatever. That sucks. Don't do that. don't do that is what I would say. But anyways, that spirit is why I wanted to write books. I was like, I have complete control, I can do whatever I want. There's a reason you shouldn't do everything you want, because it's not going to be accessible and it's not going to be appealing to most people. So unless
it just makes you happy, for the record, unless it's not for anybody else and you just want to be happy and you're enjoying the thing that you're doing. Yeah, I think that's a valid reason to do something like that. But if it's something that you're trying to make other people consume, yeah, definitely. You gotta make some sacrifices.
I'm sure there are people out there who fit that description, but I actually think I genuinely think most people who say that, they say, "Oh, I'm doing this for me." I think that's not true. I've known people who have like written books, and obviously because I'd written a book at 17, I had a lot of experience. Throughout my life, I've had a lot of people like send me their book ideas and be like, "Hey, do you want to read this chapter? I want to get your thoughts on this." And something I learned is that that it's kind of an excuse for a lot of people. They say, "Oh, well, I'm doing this for me, so it's not a big deal." What they're really saying is, I don't want someone else to tell me how to do this, and I'm scared that it won't succeed. So if I say I'm not interested in its success, I don't feel like I failed.
So I actually want to add something onto that. This is a thing that actually is something it's one of those things where when I think about why I'm doing something, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm actually doing it for me. This is a fun mental episode, and obviously it's more complex than I'm making it, but
yeah.
Hypothetical. If you're ever wondering, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this to prove something, or seem like be admired or whatever? Think about this: the thing that you're gonna do, the thing that you want to do, the thing that you're putting your time, investment, whatever into. Let's say tomorrow you woke up, you were the last person on Earth. No one else is around. Everything's otherwise normal. Everybody's gone. Everybody disappeared. Everybody got snapped away by Thanos or something. There's nobody. It's just you. First off, after you have your existential crisis and panic or whatever, that thing that you were going to do for you, if you were doing it for you, you would still do it. But if you weren't, what would be the purpose, right? Like, I'm going to be real. I don't make videos for me. Because they're, like, I know how I feel about games, Like, I would just play the games and not make a video about it. Which I'm not saying that, like, I'm a star or anything. I'm just saying that, like, my goal is to entertain people and please people and, share. I would say it's like 10% for me, because I don't do I would never do a project that of something I hated and just did not want to do.
We pursue projects that we're interested in. Like, we do things that we want to do, but I know for me, my enjoyment of art tripled when I accepted the fact of, I'm making this for an audience. I'm making this for a demographic. I'm making this because I want someone else to consume it, which means...
And it makes you look at things in a different way, too.
Yes, it does. And what a lot of people, and this is what I was talking about with that artistic ego death. There's people who are less experienced with writing, and this used to be me. I'm saying this because this was me for a while, who they want to make the thing their way, and they also want people to consume it because they want people to think they're that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to make this thing and people be like, wow, that's amazing. You're probably not that guy. That guy exists. He's out there. We've watched his movie or something and we're like, whoa, what a genius, right? I'm not that. Most people aren't. And
I'm also not that.
My life got a lot better when I said, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I was like, okay, well, I want to make something that is appealing to somebody. It's like, what do you want to watch? I want to make that. This even happened. This happened in real time on my channel. Some of my, I cover Star Wars content a lot, right? Some of my earlier Star Wars content, I ragged on Disney like hard. Like I really, because I felt scorned by the sequel trilogy and like the Disney buyout, because all of the books I grew up reading they no longer mattered.
Legends.
Yeah, the Legends. So I grew up reading all the Legends books. I loved that stuff and the games and all of that. And we don't have to get into the argument of, well, technically it was never canon. The point is Disney.
George Lucas. It was never canon.
The earlier videos that I put out, I harped on it. And to be fair, I was trying to joke around. I wasn't being serious, but I got a lot of comments from people on both sides. People who didn't like Disney saying, I agree with you, but I don't really want, I was here for the content that I did like. I was here for the old game. I really wasn't interested in hearing about Disney. And then I had comments from the other people being like, we understand that you didn't really like it. And I think these jokes were kind of cheap shots. And I kind of like just accepted that and said, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. You know? So now
You'll
when
never be able to please everybody though.
well, it's not about pleasing everybody. I certainly, you know, you can't. I still get plenty of comments who are not thrilled about how I do things. But in that case, I asked myself, like, who am I really like ragging on Disney for? You know what I mean? It's like, am I doing that because
okay, I get you.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it wasn't like crucial to my vision. And I think I kind of agreed with the comments a little bit. I was like, you know what? If I'm making a video about Star Wars Bounty Hunter, do I really want to talk about Disney, or do I want to talk about Star Wars Bounty Hunter? You know? But that's one of those things where like I read the comments, I read the criticism. I was like, you know what? I think they're right on this. I don't think I really want to talk about, you know, being bitter about Disney or whatever in my videos anymore. That's one of those things.
I think at some points you should be allowed to be self-indulgent. Because like I'm so sorry, it's the project that I've spent the most time on, this Kingdom Hearts thing. There's a part of the video in the last part, the part 3, that I haven't even begun to like. The script is done, but I haven't actually gotten to production on that part yet. But like, there's a part at the end of the video that is going to be dedicated solely to just talking about like the music and stuff. I don't have to include that. A lot of people are going to click off the video when they get to that part because I'm done talking about the games. I'm including that part for me. That part's just in there because I don't want to make the video and then be like, I wish I'd done that. You know, I just want to have done it, move on. And I just kind of strategically put it at the end. So anybody that doesn't care. Yeah. But you know, that's my one self-indulgence there. So I think there is a line, there's a balance. But if it's something that like is completely needless, maybe like the music at Kingdom Hearts, some people are going to enjoy that part. Right. But yeah, if it was just me saying, and this is not to rag on you, but if it was just like, you know, I can't stand that, I don't know, like just some random thing that really doesn't add to the video. I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's more of like it's choose your battles, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably wise. You know, choose your battles. And I think there was an element also to it as well where like, I didn't really want to be the guy who the whole thing was that he doesn't like Disney Star Wars, which I don't, by the way, for the record.
You heard it here first. Definitely previously on his channel.
Yeah, I do not like the Disney Star. I mean, there's some exceptions. Like I like the Mandalorian or whatever. But the point is, I just wanted, I really wanted to be more positive. I mean, my slogan on my channel is media made with passion. Like that's like my mission statement. That's been the bio on my channel for I think almost the entire time the channel has been there, because the whole point of my endeavor is I want my media, that the content that I'm producing, to be made with passion, but I also want to be talking about media that was made with passion. Like that's the whole point. So if I'm playing something that seems a little bit like schlocky or sloppy or whatever you want to say, you know, something that maybe was a little bit of a cash grab, it's probably because I have some interesting angle or I really wanted to talk about it. Because for the most part, the whole point is it's supposed to be more of a positive thing, more of an escapism thing. So that was more of a me thing. It's like I wasn't really even being self-indulgent. I was just being whiny, you know, which I'm whiny all the time. There's plenty of times where I'm covering games and I'll whine about things, and people in my first Budokai video, the what if scenario where Cell absorbs Krillin. You remember?
I actually have a specific set. Like I wrote a specific thing about that particular one too.
Yeah, I wrote that and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like Cell can't absorb a human. I'm pretty sure he can only absorb other androids. I was just being funny, right? Dozens of comments being like, dude, it's not that deep. It was a dream. I'm like, dude, I didn't think it was. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So
see, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to insult the intelligence of viewers and stuff, but you have to assume that someone somewhere is going to take you very seriously.
There have been multiple times where somebody will comment something and then there will be like 4 replies and be like, God, dude, he was joking. You know? But by the way, no hate to anybody who says that, because I'd be a hypocrite. There have been times where I comment something on a video. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I realize, oh, that joke. The joke went over my head. You know, I'm not above it. That happens to me too. So I feel you. I'm not going to rag on people for that, because it happens to me too. I comment on plenty of videos like that.
I want to say, by the way, the thing that you said about trying to like maintain positivity, I empathize with that so much, because almost every word you said, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I do not. You won't be able to find a video where I am being hateful or like just crapping on something, because I don't. I feel like there's enough of that. Like you can find that from every white dude with a beard's channel. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to not be that guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of doomer. There's a lot of doomer channels. Yeah, that's
That's
just
why.
not
And
interested in that. You know.
so I have. It actually does kind of lead to this issue, though. I did want to. This is as good a time as any to address this because I can't talk about this. There's nowhere I can talk about this without coming off as whiny. But it plays directly into what you said.
Yeah.
I've been doing more reviews lately, and when you do reviews, it depends on the context of the review. You'll know about this, where you either have to state that you were given like a game key or a copy by a publisher, or you just don't. Even when I'm not required to, I still do it so people know that I was given a copy.
If I did not pay for the copy, I will always disclose
Yes,
that.
and I think that's important. I think that's like an ethical thing. Like when if you're like an IGN, people know that you were given a copy, right? Like they don't have to. Whereas me, somebody that like only kind of just started doing in the last year game reviews, I'm gonna mention that. And there's a specific reason I'm bringing this up. I in all my videos go out of my way. Like I will criticize games.
Yeah.
Right. I will say negatives of games. I also am aware acutely that my standards for a lot of games are much lower. I have found.
Dude, I relate. I have very low standards for games.
But the problem is that most people, and I know you've played a lot of games too. Once you've played the worst of the worst, even the mediocre games, you can find something good about them.
IGN giving everything a 7 starts making sense real fast.
Yeah, and so like
which they do that.
A
too
couple
much,
of,
but
I mean, yeah, but
they
people
definitely
also
do that
like
too much.
people. I think this is a whole separate conversation. People like really the idea of a 7 has gotten skewed quite a bit. A 7's a really good score.
5. Most games are
like
5,
7
because average.
Yeah. But I think the issue is that the optics is that people see 5 and like, oh, so it's trash. It's like, no, it's. I mean, some people like it, some people won't. That's kind of where 5 is. But now 7 is the new 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think IGN is aware of that too, and they know that if they gave like an actual like objective scale, then it might. They're aware that they have enough pull. Like, it's a very hard line to toe for them.
Yeah.
But to get back to what I was saying, I mean that again. That's a whole. I think IGN does. I enjoy IGN. I'm not an IGN hater. I'm one of those. Yeah, like most people I know are, but like I don't know. Like I think I'm partly biased because I've met some people from IGN like in person. Okay. But I felt this way even before that. But maybe it's because I was a journalism major and IGN was like a dream job. That could also be part of it. But anyways, I've been doing these reviews recently, and like the last few reviews that I've done have been for Square Enix titles, and I'll say thank you Square Enix for providing a copy because like they gave me a free game that I didn't have to pay for. It's not going to affect my opinion, but some people will find my channel for the first time. Right? Like I'm not going to say I'm known for positivity, but I'm going to say that if you're familiar with my channel, I'm not going to be if I'm going to criticize, I'm going to do it in a way that's constructive, not like. Or if there's something that I personally didn't like, but I think still has mass appeal and it's just a me thing, I'll say I can see why people might like this, but I personally didn't, etc. And I think that soft language that I use to not be toxic rubs some people the wrong way because there was a game that came out recently that had some. I don't want to open the can of worms. There were some criticisms about the game and some of the localization content and some of the things that were changed from the original release. Those things didn't bother me at all. A, because why would they? I think that the changes were fine, and B, they didn't affect the game in any way whatsoever.
They bother me. I don't even know what you're talking about, but localization changes tend to bother me.
It wasn't even a localization change. The director of the game was the one that the director of the game directed the original game and also directed this.
If the original writer, signs off on it, then it's probably fine. But
like it was a change made by the director, but it's whatever. It doesn't affect the game at all. Literally, it was one small change to a stylistic thing. That was it. And I got a bunch of comments like that for that one and for another, actually for a couple of games that I thoroughly enjoyed. For the record, one of the games is one of my favorite games I played this year, where people were like, "Wow, obvious shill." As soon as I see "Thank you, Square Enix,"
everybody's a shill.
Like they can't. Like again, my standards are a little bit lower than the average like gamer or whatever, but I have never once told a lie in one of my YouTube videos about how I felt about a game. Never once. The second I start doing that is the second I quit YouTube. Why am I doing this if I'm just lying? But like I will always try to look at the positives too. But like when it comes to stuff that like I'm just thoroughly enjoying, I only go out of my way to try to find positives when it's something I'm not enjoying that much. I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you outright that some of my least favorite games I've ever played on my channel that I thought I was gonna like are
Yeah.
the Naruto Ninja Council games. Those games, I if I ever do like another Naruto compilation, I'm not touching those games again. I'm just letting everybody know now. Those games were a chore to play, and
Yeah.
not in the fun way. A couple of them were good, most of them were not. Uh, like there's that, and then like obviously, I'm still gonna try to find something in there that people will enjoy because while I don't like those games very much, I like the art style. They're fantastic art style. They have good smooth animation. The soundtrack is a banger for a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are things to be liked about it. But then, and this is a bit slightly like a parallel topic. You have stuff like Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu. Objectively terrible game, but God, I love that game so much. It is
I
so
like a lot of
goofy
bad
and
games
dumb.
too.
It is oh my God. Like I just giggle when I play that game because of
Yeah.
how dumb it is. Like same with sagas. Like there's just
Dude, I was
I'm
super
just
positive. I don't know if you've seen my video on sagas. Have you seen
I have
it?
not seen it yet.
I was
I'm
super
kind of like
positive.
not watching and consuming Dragon Ball content
It's probably
while I'm
smart.
working on this, so I
Yeah.
don't get burnt out.
I'm just telling you right now, I had a lot of good things to say about sagas, but I had to like taper it because that's not a very good game. It's
Did you
really
at least
not.
mention? I don't know if you encountered this. This saga's related. Sorry, anybody watching this doesn't care. I mean they're on your channel. They care.
Yes.
Um, did you, as quickly as I did, find the essentially infinite stun lock you can do to bosses? You can stun
Maybe?
lock basically every boss.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I played it,
Yeah.
and I kind of played
You
it.
can cheese almost every boss fight
I
by just
remember
stun locking them.
I remember doing a lot of something. I remember cheese. There's a lot of cheeses in that game. I remember doing a lot of that. I beat.
You can
I
just
beat,
like do like a 3-punch combo that they can never get out of.
I
It.
feel like I remember doing that, but maybe
Mhm.
I didn't. I don't know. Playing that game was kind of a blur because I did the whole thing in like 3 days and then wrote the script in like another 3 days. It was very quick.
And
But
yeah, it's sagas. It's a traumatic experience. I get it.
yeah, not a
kidding.
very good game, but I really liked it.
It is one of the games of all time.
It definitely is one of the games of all time. And that brings up another interesting thing is like I know it seems like you might feel this way too, but I know with me, I am not cut out to be a video game reviewer. I cannot review modern games. I can't review most games. I can talk about games in retrospectives, but that's because most of the time what I'm doing is I'm talking about the writing. Most of my retrospectives are like 90%, well, I'll say 75% like the narrative. And then the rest I talk about like mechanics and music and other stuff like that. But most of what I talk about is the plot, the world building, the universe, because that's what I do. That's what I know.
Right.
And it's like you said earlier, with your standards for games being pretty low, my standards are really low because there's a lot of objectively bad games that I love. And there's a lot of really good games that I cannot stand. I just can't play them. I try. There's all kinds of games that friends of mine were like loved and like, dude, you got to play this game. And I play it. I'm like, dude, I'm so bored. I hate this. You know what I mean? So I'm not cut out. I really only try to do reviews, like review videos for things that are relevant to content that I'm already talking about. So I did a review video for Sparking Zero because I was already talking about Dragon Ball. I did a review for Bounty Hunter and it was a remaster, and I'm planning to do a review video for the Jedi Power Battles remaster. But it's super. I don't ever like saying the word never, but it's very unlikely you'll see like a major AAA title get like a review video from me. You at best you might see a retrospective like 3 years later or something. Do you feel that way?
I think I enjoy making reviews because it's a challenging process because I can't tackle it like I would a retrospective. Because I have to think about what are people looking for in a review. Like with a retrospective, I can just dump everything about the games. I break the games down into like sections and say, here's an overview of this. With a review, you're trying to get a point. You're trying to get the point across of why people will or won't like this game, things about this game. And like with a retrospective, I'm kind of doing that, but it's more of like from a personal standpoint. Whereas with a review, I'm trying to say, okay, the average player, who is this game's audience? Who will like this? Who is this game not for? And I think that kind of provides this very specific kind of challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not amazing at it. I think that I'm getting really I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I think I'm getting good at making like retrospectives and stuff. I think with reviews, I am only just now kind of diving into it, and I think that right now I'm not that good at it, but I feel like I can get better.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed the challenge, I think.
Yeah.
And so, like, do I like making reviews as much as retrospectives? I can't answer that because
I can.
I haven't done it enough. I will say that the pressure of having a deadline also, well, it means a deadline, but like embargoes and stuff, it is very helpful for motivation, I will say.
Oh,
But
I hate it, dude.
I'm the other way around. If I have like one of the hardest things about like YouTube for me is like being a self-starter with the ADHD and stuff and starting things. But like with that, whenever they're like, hey, so you can post about this starting then. It's like, well, if I release a review of a game 7 weeks later, who is that for, right?
Yeah.
But like sometimes I will do it delayed if it's something that my audience is especially interested in. Like my Naruto Connections review was like a year after the game, but I know that my audience wanted to see it. I did want to say this is related. I got a copy of Bounty Hunter for review. Did not review it. Do you know why I didn't review it?
Because you didn't like it?
Wasn't even that. I didn't have time.
Oh, yeah.
I could not have done what I was doing during that period of time and also gotten a even decent review of Bounty Hunter out. And I feel bad because I feel like they're probably like, well, he just took a copy and ran. I swear I have a bunch of footage of me playing the game. I have a script started. Just did not have the time.
Can I sidetrack there just to tell you about the process of my reviewing Bounty Hunter real quick?
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why I don't like the deadline thing. The Bounty Hunter came out, I believe, on a Friday. Mm-hmm. I got my review copy on a Monday. And I said, okay, easy. I'll play half of it on Monday. And then I had something I had to do on Monday, so it wasn't half. I played a couple of missions on Monday. Played a couple of missions on Tuesday. I beat it on Wednesday, but I was writing my script the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. So, because I'd already played the hell out of the game, so it was a review. I was just basically in the review talking about what changed, what's new, what's different. I don't remember what happened, but something happened and I lost all of the footage and I lost... No, I didn't lose my footage. The data reset because it was a review copy and there was some kind of there was a glitch and I lost my progress. And I had almost...
Did that happen to everybody?
No, I don't think so. I think it was something...
Okay, because I was about to be like, oh, that sucks.
Well, the problem is it was a review. And the big thing about the remaster was they added a Boba Fett skin. Mm-hmm. And you only get that by beating the game. So... I had to talk about it and I had to have footage of it. So I remember I stayed up because I lost. I was beating the game on Thursday. It was on Thursday night. And then I was going to finish up the script and I was going to release it Friday. That happened. So I stayed up all night. I didn't sleep. I went to the grocery store. I got a bunch of caffeine drinks and I speed ran the game. I put on a podcast in my, probably some retrospective for some game series on my second monitor. I chugged caffeine. I sat there.
One of your favorite NIOSAI'S videos. I'm just kidding.
I played the hell out of Bounty Hunter. I beat almost the whole game that week. And then I had to do it again in like 4 hours so I could get the footage, finish my review. So I had to go finish the script. Then I had to record the audio. Then I had to go turn it into a video. And that's why that review is 10 minutes long.
Wow.
Very short review. So,
to be fair, not every review has to be like extensively long.
Well, it just would have been naturally. My Sparking Zero review was almost 30 minutes, just naturally. That also is another reason. After Bounty Hunter, I altered the way I do review videos now, where I do it off the cuff. So I write an outline with everything I want to talk about, and then I just start recording and I just talk. So I don't have
might have to try that.
Reviews. Very, very useful for reviews. I still pre-script everything for all my other videos, but for reviews, because of the deadlines, because of the time sync, and because I'm normally working on other stuff, my new method is I write an outline and I have like little 1-sentence tidbits of like I want to talk about this, and then I put it in the order that I want to talk about it. So the flow is predetermined. It keeps me on track, and then I just kind of word vomit whatever I'm feeling, and then I go and I edit the audio. Significantly more efficient for a review. But I'm also I'm already pretty good at keeping my own deadlines. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I have most of the videos that I plan to do planned out until the summer of next year. like
Wow.
pre-planned. Yeah, and starting in the summer of this year, I had almost all of the videos that I was going to do this year already scheduled out, and they've been releasing mostly on schedule. Like I knew I planned to release my Killzone Shadowfall video in November. Back
What's it like having a
in
video
June.
ready for release ahead of time?
I
What's
don't.
that like?
I
Oh, I
normally
thought.
no. I don't
Okay.
get them done early. I just
Okay, I thought you were saying you just have videos ready to
no.
release.
Hell no.
Okay, I was like, wow, that's a
No,
that's a problem I wish I had.
I'm keeping on a schedule is what I'm saying. So I typically
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
I typically end up finishing a video like a week or 2 weeks before I planned to release them because I give my members an early release. But I use this app, kind of spoiling the secret here. I use this app.
Oh, no.
I'll show you
The
called
sauce.
Nice Mind.
We're seeing the sauce being made
You
in
can't
real
see it
time.
very well, but that's every month. And then all the videos I want to make like pre-planned
Oh,
out.
wow.
And it's really cool. You can like move it around. It's very intuitive. See that?
I don't know if I could. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that because like I never know how long one of my projects is gonna take.
That's why it's a deadline.
Right, but like I don't know, like
You have to accommodate for it as you work.
yeah, I don't know, like sometimes I'll have like a really good idea that takes a while to execute, and I'll put it in there, and it'll make the video better. And I don't know if I could like work that with a deadline, you know?
Well, there have been many instances where I had to change. Like that's a fluid list. Videos have
Okay,
been
so you're not just like okay.
I don't stick to it religiously. I just it's like a guide I try to follow. So for
Okay, that
instance,
makes sense.
I was going to make a video on Syndicate back in November. The 2012 one. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is a first person shooter
Yeah.
game? Yeah. Not emulatable.
It was free recently.
On what?
Steam, I think, maybe,
No,
possibly.
it's not on Steam. It's not on anywhere.
What was it?
Not the 2012 one. You might be thinking of the
I
1993 original Syndicate. Might have been free
No,
on
I
GOG.
definitely own Syndicate. Maybe it was GOG.
Well, then it was the original because the 2012 game isn't listed. You can't buy it. You have to buy it aftermarket for like the 360 or the PS3, and it's not emulatable. I actually changed that script, and I'm turning it into the Cyberpunk game you can't play anymore script. Spoilers, giving that away because you can't buy it. You can only play it if you buy it aftermarket and you play it on a console because you can't emulate it and you can't buy it digitally.
I definitely own this game. Where do I own this game?
Well, it used to be for sale. You used to be able to buy it on, I think Epic Games, Origin. No, Origin. It's on Origin.
Maybe.
So if you bought it when it was available for sale on Origin, yeah, you might have it. A lot of people own it. It got delisted because I think music licensing issues because it had like 4 licensed songs in it.
Yeah, I'm out here trying to figure out where I own this game.
It's Origin. That's where it's available. I'm
going to
90%. I'm 90% sure it's on Origin.
I'm going to check right now. Oh,
Yeah.
If I was logged in, I would.
And
check,
if you
actually.
own it, you're lucky because you can't buy it.
So I actually have an idea for a video that I want to do at some point called, which it was another one of those wind out of my sales thing. It was going to be a video called Games You Can't Play Anymore. I've been compiling footage of games before they shut down for 2 to 3 years now. I have a pretty big stockpile of footage from games that you literally can no longer play because the servers are down. And somebody else is making that video series that is not, it's the similar idea. It's not exactly the same. And they're already on like part 4. And I'm just like, what's the point, man?
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, that's part of being fluid and adapting, you know?
Yeah.
Did you find it on
Crazy.
Origin?
We can keep going. I lost my password, but I will randomly chime in once I find out.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I had a few more. We're probably approaching close to the end of the interview, but I had a few more questions I wanted to ask you that are just we're gonna take it down a notch. We're gonna get a little bit more personal.
Sure.
Wanted to ask, what are like 1 or 2 video games that you consider to be very important to you personally?
Well, apart from basically any of the Kingdom Hearts games, important to me personally. That's a really great question. I would say that up there, one of them would probably be Final Fantasy X, just because Final Fantasy X is it's kind of it was my gateway to my favorite genre, which is the JRPG. It was another way that I connected with my sister when we were kids.
Okay.
And then my second one, this is going to be an answer that nobody will expect. Probably specifically Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Very interesting.
or The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It's one of those two.
Okay.
It's kind of a flip flop, and the reason for that is one of those two games was the first video game I ever played,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I wanted they're both in like my top like 20 games of all time, and yeah, like and the reason I don't remember if which one was the first game that I ever played is because we got them at the same time, and I don't remember exactly. I just know it is one of those two games. It was probably both of them on the same day, if we're being honest.
Okay.
But they were my gateway to my hobby, my hobby, and now my job. They led to this thing that I'm doing now. So
Okay. It's good answers. Those are good answers. Okay. Well, now tell me about some non-video game related media that inspires you.
it inspires me.
Yeah.
Ooh. Non-video game related media. You're asking me to not be video game brain rot for a second. Oh man. Non-video game media. I don't know if I can answer that question right now.
I mean, it's got to be a movie, TV show, music.
Like all the thing that goes straight into my head is like just stuff I like. But like it inspires me specifically. I mean like no, because that's still video game related. I was gonna be like, well, the documentaries, but those are video game documentaries. Man. You really got me stumped on this one. That's a really good question. It's not something I ever thought like actively think about. I'm sure people are really excited, like just excited watching me just go like be completely stumped.
This is part of the podcast process.
Man,
gotta know
all
going
roads
into
lead
it.
back to video games for me, and I don't know if that says something about me.
He's having some existential
Yeah.
realizations.
Jeez. Like I'm looking around the room just to be reminded of something that isn't a video game, and I'm surrounded by video game paraphernalia.
And do you just listen to video game music, or do you listen to like?
Well, no, like I listen. Okay, so I listen to music that I just enjoy, not necessarily like because I'm framing this as something that inspires me, right?
There's no music
I
that
could
like,
just
inspires you, like particular band, artist.
I don't know if any. I don't know if I have any particular music artists that inspire me specifically. Outside of like, I hate to say it, I do. I'm like a hobbyist musician when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. But like, when I say hobbyist, I mean casual hobbyist. And all my influences are video game related. So, it's kind of hard to, like, I have favorite music, but that's just music I like listening to. You know, it's not necessarily something that drives my creative process or like influences my life in any particular way. And then, you know, I'm thinking of movies that like I'm a big movie guy too, but I don't go to movies for inspiration really. I go to movies just for like there's a whole rabbit hole I could go down with that.
Movies are one of my go-to places for inspiration.
See, and that's the thing. Like I think the way I consume media, I don't know. Like I think my inspirations mostly come from like relationships and like social connections and stuff. I think people and like the words and like relationships with people are my main inspirations and like my goals rather than outside influences like media and stuff. And I'm not trying to downplay media being people's inspirations. I just don't know if there's ever been a time where I was like, I am inspired. But like, I've seen something that has inspired me and I wanted to make something like that, obviously, right? But
Yeah.
it always is something video game related, most likely. So, I mean, I guess the most you could say is like, when I'm watching a movie and I see a complex visual effect or like a cool editing decision, that is something that like might inspire me to a technical degree. Like I'll just trying to think of a specific example. I forced myself to learn. I'm never going to use it, but it was really cool. I watched the movie Game Night, and it has this really really cool fixed perspective scene that makes a neighborhood look like a miniature set, but it's like it's a real footage aerial of a neighborhood. And the way they used the blurring, I can't remember what the word is. It's the filming technique that makes something look miniature that's not.
Yeah.
I desperately wanted to know how to do that, and I figured it out. Didn't help me. I don't like film, like expansive shots of scenery, but
Yeah.
that did I learn things. from doing that. So
Right, yeah.
I guess maybe that's the closest thing. Is your camera zooming in right now, or is it my imagination?
It's your imagination.
Okay, that's. Anyways, um, that's pretty much like as far as I can take it. Is that it's something like that? It's like the only specific example I can think of.
My Hero Academia doesn't inspire you?
I mean,
Inspires me.
it gets me pumped. Gets me pumped.
Gets me pumped.
Like I guess I okay. If you mean just like not specific inspiration to perform certain acts or do certain things, yeah. I mean, like there's music that inspires me. Like it makes me feel like ready, ready for the day, or like keeps me going, like keeps me energized.
SpongeBob theme
If
song.
that's your 100%, that goes hard. Everybody in the club gets insane when the SpongeBob theme song comes on. Actually, unironically, they probably do. If you're like in a club and you start, "Are you ready, kids?" Everybody would lose their minds.
That would
Yeah,
really work.
but in general, there's music that like can make me feel like pumped or like ready to go, or like put me in a certain mood. I guess I'd never connected that directly to inspiration. More of just like a music and media emotionally influences me. It makes me feel certain ways,
Yeah.
which is a form of inspiration, I guess. But I'm word salad right now. I hope my thoughts
I
have
think
made
it's a good
sense.
enough answer. I think that's a solid answer. I think we get the idea. Okay, I think I only have one more question.
Okay.
What is on your gym or driving playlist?
This is gonna be. See, I hate that I'm the first guest because this is gonna be a very unhinged answer. So,
Set
me
the
and my
precedent.
spouse, we have like our normal songs that we listen to. On the like I'm opening up my Spotify. I'm not gonna play it because I don't want you to get striked. But
Yeah, please.
we have the normal music that we listen to, which is just the music that we both like. It's just a healthy mixture of all kinds of genres and stuff. But when we really want to, especially when we have people in the car with us, right, and we want to have an entertaining time, we have this playlist called Work 2.0. And the reason it's called that is a long story. My spouse was gonna play this at their job as a joke, but ended up not happening. So I will list to you the top. I'll list to you just the first few songs of this playlist, okay? So we have Spanish Flea by Herb Alpert and the Tawana Brass. That's one that goes bum 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 bum.
Oh,
Da, 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 da.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the second song down is the Home Depot beat, which is the Home Depot theme
yeah,
song from the
yeah.
commercials. We have Ripped Pants from SpongeBob SquarePants. We have the
banger.
Wii Sports theme.
Banger.
We have
banger.
Uptown Funk, as covered by the Kids Bop Kids.
Okay, the good one. Okay.
Yeah. We have Seabat by Hudson Mohawk. We have the screwing song from that Reddit post.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one. We have the VeggieTales theme song.
That's a real banger. That's the good one.
We have the Poker Rap, of which I can do most of from memory.
Oh, of course.
We have Rednex's Cotton Eye Joe. We have Ween's Ocean Man. We have the Cantina Band theme from the London Symphony Orchestra as conducted by John Williams.
Okay.
We have
tiny side note. Okay, real quick. I went to see Star Wars in concert.
I'm upset. I'm jealous.
In November, right? It was A New Hope, and they played the whole score. Fantastic, by the way, just beautiful. But shockingly, they did not perform the Cantina song live.
I feel like that's kind of like a requirement for a New Hope concert specifically.
Yeah, you would think. Like the movie, so there was a big projector, massive, all of huge, just image on the wall. They just played the entire film from start to finish, and then for all of the music bits, the orchestra performed it.
So like they just removed the music from the movie and just had the orchestra do it live?
The orchestra just played over it.
Oh, I thought it was like they literally just did the soundtrack during, which would be really cool, by the way.
Well, they do, but they're just playing.
It's not synced up to the movie.
It is, but it's
you just can't hear the dialogue and stuff.
No, you can. It's just they're playing louder. So when they're playing, you can't hear anything. But when there's not music playing, they put it down. Now you can't hear them. Now you can hear them talking and stuff. But
I'm assuming that's also when the Cantina Band was playing, not by the orchestra. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, shockingly, the Cantina scene popped up, and I was like, oh, here we go, because I was ready for it. And then they had nothing. They just let it play. And I was like, oh.
Man.
Which, no hate. I mean, it's probably a wacky song to try to.
Yeah, I mean that's probably an amazing experience either way. But that is an interesting creative choice to not play that specific song.
Probably had to do with like the instruments. Although they had brass, like I'm surprised they couldn't. I don't know. It's probably a good reason why they didn't do it, I assume. But it was a beautiful
Maybe.
concert. I'm really hoping that they do other movies because I would love to see like Revenge of the Sith live. But that's
Oh, that would be so
yeah.
good.
That's side
Duel of
note.
the Fates in person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. See, that's. Ooh. I'm not going to list every. We'd be
don't
here
have to.
forever if I listed every
You
song.
don't have to list
but,
anymore.
I do think I will say Duel of the Fates is on that playlist.
Oh yeah, that's a great choice.
Yeah, this playlist is meant to be like tonal whiplash at all times.
It's one of
You
the
should never know what's going to happen next.
Duel of Fates is one of the greatest compositions of all time. I don't remember who I heard say this. I'm sure someone will point it out. But I remember hearing somebody say that if Duel of the Fates had not been the song to a movie, it would be regarded as one of the greatest compositions released within the last couple hundred years.
And I actually
There's
agree
just some
with that.
guy's
And what's
opinion,
fun
but I also agree
is
with it.
I actually have another song on this playlist, which is the song that I've never confirmed this, but I'm assuming it's the song that Duel of the Fates is most inspired by, which is Oh Fortuna. The one that goes
Oh! Yeah.
I feel like there's some inspiration in Duel of the Fates from
It
that.
has to be. I mean, John Williams is probably like super well versed in all that stuff. You know, I imagine all kinds of inspiration.
Oh yeah. By the way, totally wacky side note. Just want to throw something in there.
Mhm.
I didn't know this. Did you know that the new Star Wars Battlefront games, the soundtracks are completely new?
No, I didn't know that at all.
I thought they were just John Williams things.
You
No,
would think.
totally. It was somebody doing a really impressive John Williams styled score.
Wow. You know, I
Yeah.
actually
I found that out like
I
yesterday.
that.
So
I'm in favor
it's
of that
really good.
personally. I like that. I
Yeah.
like when they do that.
they made a score that sounds like it was from a Star Wars movie, and I just assumed it was.
Yeah, there's a couple
It
of
was
games
not.
that do like the Knights of the Old Republic games have really like
Mhm.
Star Warsy
Yeah.
scores.
Anyways, I just threw that in there because that's something that I figured you would be interested in that I just learned like yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'm gonna have to do a Battlefront series, so I'll probably
You gotta.
I'll probably have to throw that in there. Well, all right,
Just
man.
make sure you fact check me before you do that because
I will. I'll fact check you.
what if the thing I read was wrong?
But I think that about wraps it up. I think we've had a really good conversation. I've certainly enjoyed having
I've had a
you
good
on.
time.
I think we've
Yeah,
discussed
I've
a lot
enjoyed
of
being here.
interesting and compelling things, and I hope that whoever decides to view this, takes something interesting or inspiring from it. And you are my first guest on this little pet project, and I'm really
I'm
excited
honored.
to continue to take it and see who else we have, and probably have you back on at some point.
I'd love to. I've enjoyed this greatly. It's been great.
Do you have any
Had a good
closing
time.
thoughts? Anything you'd like to say or add?
Subscribe to Evan Prince.
Oh no, subscribe to NIOSAI'S. Subscribe to both of us.
Yeah, subscribe to both of us.
That's
Yeah,
what you need to
that's
do.
best
You
case
have to
scenario
do
for
it.
everybody.
Yeah.
You gotta. You must.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. And
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. I hope that you like the video. I hope that you click the like button on the video. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think if you haven't already dropped one yet. And obviously, subscribe to my channel. Head over to NIOSAI. Subscribe to his channel. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. But until then, that's all I've got for you.